And then the Buddha showed the rest of the blind helpers the elephant's tail, the elephant's belly, and the elephant's tusks. He then said to them all, "Please describe to me what an elephant is like." The first woman who had felt the elephant's head said, "An elephant is like a pot." The second man who had felt the elephant's leg said, "No, no, no. An elephant is like a pillar." The other blind helpers began to argue, "No, it's not like that at all. An elephant is like a brush or a wall or a hammer." The villagers who had been arguing about the right way to peace watched on the blind helpers argued about what an elephant is. One villager stepped forward and said, "Here, you are all right. See, you have each touched a different part of the whole elephant." And they walked the blind helpers over to the elephant to touch along the whole body of the elephant. The blind helpers then understood, and the villagers looked to the Buddha as they exclaimed, "Oh, you are all correct," said the Buddha, "just as each of our helpers has been correct in describing the part of the whole elephant. You have each touched a different part of the path to peace."
You did not walk with me of late to the hilltop tree by the gated ways, as in earlier days. You were weak and lame, so you never came. And I went alone, and I did not mind not thinking of you as left behind. I walked up there today just in the former way, surveyed around the familiar ground by myself again. What difference then? Only that underlying sense of the look of a room on returning thence.
My app is loading, so please be patient. Oh no. This month is themed by the UUA Soul Matters Resource Guide as Finding Our Center. This speaks to me as a contemplative month, an introspective month, a soul-searching month. It really aligns with a post-New Year's resolution time. For those of us who may have created a long list of things to give up or a long list of things to do, but may not have taken the time to determine the ground underneath what those behaviors have come from. This is an opportunity to see past what those bad habits have been distracting us from. Contemplation and finding our center position us to do that perfectly. This is an opportunity for us to look behind the habits we've been giving up. When Nikki and I set out to plan this month together, we decided to take on several topics that would invite us inward. Contemplative themes and ideas, and have us offer some practices to help us find our center. So today we will explore walking meditation. That's hence the name Walk With Me. Walking seems to be so simple. In fact, it feels mindless. Since we learned it early on in our life, we have done it thoughtlessly from then on. Some of us have challenges with balance or strength for walking. Some have bad knees or hips. We've all been through that. I would argue that having pain keeps one fully present with the practice of walking. We will save that for another day, our soreness and complaining, but today we will explore walking as a meditative practice, and then we will have a walking meditation right here in the sanctuary. I can't remember if I prepared you for this in the Friday flyer, but we will do a short walk about in a few minutes. I'm sure that many of you have heard of walking meditation. Walking meditation is a cornerstone of Buddhist meditation as much as a sitting meditation, as we heard in the children's story. What you may not know is that there are no less than 5 kinds of walking meditations. There are as many kinds of walking meditations as there are different streams of Buddhism. Formally, and of course informally, as just as many forms of Christians have formal prayers, just as many Christians have informal prayers. So let's start with the more formal kinds of walking meditations. I just want to describe those a bit. The more formal types of walking meditations are very prescriptive and are often used by Buddhist monks communally in a synchronized way, similar to Christian monks in a monastery joining together to chant psalms. So there is a walking meditation that is attributed to Thailand Buddhist. It is an intense kind of walking meditation, and it involves a lot of time. A person would pace about 30 to 40 feet back and forth on an unencumbered path with or without shoes for 10 to 15 hours. With the gaze mostly down or the eyes half closed, the walkers would focus on each physical move that comprises a step, fully aware of their feelings and the motions that are taking place. And when I say feelings, the sensations on the bottom of their feet. Gazes are down so as not to be distracted by scenery or activity surrounding the walker, sometimes done shoeless so that there's no barrier between the feeling of the earth against the soles of their feet. As you are probably surmising, this is a walking meditation that is done mostly in monasteries, where a 10 to 15 hour commitment away from life as we know it is not an uncommon thing. And the bloody feet or the other kinds of aesthetic suffering may be looked upon as something to be venerated, something that we don't do. Walking meditation for monks, very disciplined, probably painful, and likely inaccessible for the masses. And also because it is very powerful, like fasting for days. These kinds of aesthetic experiences often bring on visions and powerful feelings that overwhelm. So apart from being difficult logistically to pull off 10 to 15 hours a day of walking and having your feet bleed, those who walk with intensity need the support of an interpreter or a protector while they're doing this kind of meditation. Basically, this is an extreme form of finding one's center. There are also forms of walking meditation. There's a Japanese Zen walking meditation that is slow-paced and very prescribed way of holding one's hands and walking slowly clockwise around a room, taking a small foot-length step and at every completed breath. Meaning a footstep and a long, slow breath in and out. The gaze is 4 to 5 feet out in front, kind of fuzzy, so that you're not focusing on anything but your feet. And the real focal point for the Japanese Zen walking is breathing. An hour-long meditation could take 30 to 40 yards if your breathing is intentional and your concentration is good. And it also can be practiced in short periods of time, like an hour or even 15 minutes. So it's still intense and it can stir up tough feelings and awakenings, but it's a bit more doable than the 10 to 15 hours. There are Taoist walking exercises that focus on energy work, like creating and holding your ball of energy, like Tai Chi, walking very intentionally in martial arts stances, aimless walking, being led by the dantian in the center of your body. This walking requires training and energy work, so it's a little more intense, it's a little more intentional. And not to be excluded is experiential and intentional walking, labyrinths, pilgrimage, spiritual running exercises, where the focus is somewhat external on completing the thing that you're doing, and maybe the soles of your feet, but it's really taking in all that's around you. So this is not an exhaustive list of walking meditation, but I wanted to paint a more robust picture of the many ways that you could do some walking meditation. And walking out of this history of meditative walking and into our lives is Thich Nhat Hanh, a name that you're probably familiar with. He was a Vietnamese Zen Buddhist monk with more impacts on his culture and our society than I could discuss in a 10 to 15-hour service, so I won't. So we will leave that for another time, but today we will talk about this very accessible thoughts on and direction of meditative walking. Han reminds us that when we first learned to walk, we walked just to enjoy walking, just because we could. We walked and discovered each moment that we encountered. He suggests that we can learn to walk that way again, and he offers an observation that we frequently walk with the sole purpose of getting from one place to another, asking us, what about the in-between? What about the just steps, the just walking? With every step, we can feel the miracle of walking on solid ground. With every step, we arrive on solid ground. With every step, we can recognize the present moment. His interpretation of mindful walking is offered for us non-monks, for us who may not have 10 to 15 hours or 1 hour or even 15 minutes. His interpretation invites us to walk with intention in each moment, a way of being present in each moment, a perfect practice of finding our center again and again. So today we will do some meditative walking together. Han talks about collective walking and collective energy. So while we are not monks, we can walk together here and create some collective energy. Han says, when we walk with others, the collective energy of mindfulness that we generate is very powerful. It helps heal everyone. When we walk together, producing the energy of mindfulness, going home to the here and now, we can feel paradise right under our feet. We can see more clearly the paradise that's all around us. And after all, isn't that what worship is meant to do for us? To help us reflect on the here and now, join our collective energy, and to observe and manifest goodness in our lives. The walking meditation is simply this. First, lift your foot and breathe in. Put your foot down in front of you, heel to toe, and breathe out. Feel your feet solid on the earth. You will have arrived as you began. You will have arrived as you began. Today we are going to experience a collective walking meditation together. In doing this together, I hope to harness your collective energy and to possibly introduce you or invite you into adapting a walking meditation for yourself. The walking meditation is not targeted. You're not focused on your feet or breathing, but you're taking in steps, what is all around you. It is a meditative stroll overlaid with mindfulness of all your senses that you are experiencing, with an invitation to carry one sensation or one perception with you for further exploration. So now, I'm going to invite you, as you are able, to stand and walk out to the aisle. And for the folks in the center, I want you to turn right. And for the folks on the sides, I want you to turn left. I want you to all be in the same direction. We're going to go clockwise. Sorry, I tried to describe it. Leave enough space between you and the person in front of you, like 4 to 5 feet, so that you don't give them a flat tire. Forgot what a flat tire was, but it was a nice memory. Lean on the pews if you need to. I will have you start the walk with the word begin and have you stop when I say stop. We will walk around with an invitation to focus on different senses and perceptions. So stand flat on your feet, shoulders back, knees together. As we start, fix your gaze on the feet of the person in front of you, just to start us out. Now take a deep breath. Feel the soles of your feet firmly planted on the ground. Wiggle your toes. Rock on your heels if you're able. Take another deep breath and begin walking. Notice the sound of your steps. The creaking of the floor. The cracking of your knees. The sound of the blowers. Now I invite you to open your eyes and look to your left and try not to fall over. Notice the walls, the pulpit, the windows, the doors. Notice the organ. Look for cracks and peels. Whatever catches your attention on the left side. Maybe something you never saw before. Focus on it while you walk, and then keep moving and look ahead. Now continue to walk. Feel your foot land on your heel and push off with your toe. Feel the lift of it again as you breathe in and you place it on the ground and breathe out. Now, continue to walk and look to your right. Observe the beautiful faces across the pews. Familiar, some of them new, some of them smiling, some of them shy. Glancing as you pass them, you can move face to face. Feel your feet hitting the ground as you take a breath. And now bring your gaze in front of you again, fuzzy and soft, as you continue to walk. Slowly and deliberately, take a deep on smells. What does the church smell like to you? Do you smell a hint of soap or a perfume? Or God forbid, something else? Continue to breathe deeply. Is there a smell of dampness or must? Is the air crisp? Breathe in. Feel your nose fill with air. And feel your heel land on the floor and roll to your toes and push off again. Continue walking. Breathing in as you pick up your foot, breathing out as you place it on the floor. Feel the earth under your feet, the sensations of your toes and the sole of your foot. Do you hear your own breath sounds Do you hear anything outside? Is the floor still creaking? Listen and walk. Walk and breathe. Breathe in and place your foot. Breathe out, lift your foot, and walk. Now shift your attention to your feelings. As you walk and feel your feet on the ground, how do you feel? Are you mad? Are you sad? Are you glad? Do you feel relaxed? Are you annoyed? Are you anxious, disappointed, elated, relieved? Are you ecstatic or gloomy? Do you feel exhausted, robust, depleted, scared, unwavering? Notice your feelings as you place your foot firmly on the ground, heel to toe. Invite your feelings into this space with us so that we can hold them as we circle them in the sanctuary. Breathe in as you place your foot. Breathe out as you lift it. And continue to feel and notice your feelings. Now stop. Please sit down where you stopped. Sitting somewhere other than the normal spot that you usually sit in, I think I've accomplished that. Sitting somewhere different than you normally sit heightens your attention. It helps you pay attention to what's around you because you're not used to seeing it from that angle. And so far, for the last short time of our service, I would like you to sit in this new spot, paying attention to the newness and breathing and noticing and breathing and noticing. The walking meditation is simply this. First, you lift your foot and breathe in. Then you put your foot down and breathe out. Heel to toe, you put your foot. Feel your feet solid on the earth and realize that you've already arrived. As you walk out of the sanctuary today, as you walk to the parish hall and out of the parish hall and out into the world, remember your feet. Remember your breath. Breathe in as you step. Feel the earth and know that you have arrived. Everybody except Anne. Anne has to come back.
Everyone passed the field sobriety test? Oh. When we are gathered together as a community, we bring the gifts of ourselves, our hearts and spirits, our time and energy, our talents and skills to support the work of the church here within our walls and out in the larger community. We also bring our gift of generosity, giving of what we have so that the work of this church may continue. As always, half our offering today will be sent into the larger community to support the work of an agency or organization that is making a difference in our world. This month, we are sharing our offering with Seeds of Hope in Biddeford. If you are watching from home, donations may be made through the Give button at the top of your webpage, of our webpage, uuchurch.sacobitterford.com, or checks may be mailed to UUCSB, 60 School Street, Saco, Maine. Or for those joining us on YouTube, you may click on the PayPal link in the video description. Please be generous as the ushers collect this morning's offering.
And if you don't make it, oh,
As we release this flame from its faithful service today, we allow the spark in each of us to burn on, to warm our compassion, to fire our delight, to light our paths.
about the logistics of all of this. So again, I apologize, but you'll need a hymnal, and we're going to sing hymn number 108. Pursue some path, however narrow and crooked, in which you can walk with love and reverence, and may it be so.
Our choir titles didn't make it into the order of service because they weren't decided until yesterday. This piece is called Benediction. I wrote it in 2012, and it was arranged by Joanne Hamill.
Leave this place in peace. Return again in joy. You will be welcome back with open arms. Life will call you home. These friends will hold you near. Think of us. We will be waiting here. This place in peace. Return again in joy. You will be welcome back with open arms. Life will call you home. These friends will hold you near. We will be waiting here. Leave this place in peace. Return again in joy. You will be welcomed back with open arms. Life will call you home. These friends will hold you near. Think of us. We will be waiting here. Think of us. We will be waiting here.
Thank you for joining us today at home or in person. We're glad that you were here with us. Our service will conclude this morning with a postlude played by our organist, Paul Benya.